morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to the work week. Play a little Monday morning quarterback. How did your NFL team do? Talk a little football. Talk a little eBay. Talk a little trading card database. Talk a little raw hamburger. Talk about what the hell time is it? Does anybody know? Happy Monday. It's today is one of those mornings in Wisconsin where I have no idea what to wear. Not because of fashion. Look at me. It's never about fashion. It's about, is this zipper down hooded thing? Is it going to be too warm today? It's going to be in the 60, November 6th. It's going to be like 65 today. Guess what that means? I've got to fucking mow again. Seriously. Whatever steroids they put on the new grass they planted in our yard, like the existing grass here on this property, I wouldn't have had to mow since like Labor Day. But this freaking super destroyer grass they planted pops up like every 3 days. Like I need to mow like every 3 days. The last time I mowed, I had a nightmare that I had to mow again. That's how much my lawn is like effing with my head. And I did like 3 days later. It's like, Jesus, I could mow again. Whatever fertilizer they're putting on, if you need some, I'll hook you up. I'll have your people call my people. And it's freaking crazy, man. It grows like nuts. So I'm going to have to mow today. So it's going to be in the mid 60s. Be a nice little November mow. And hopefully it's the last time I have to frickin' mow. Like I even like after the last mow, like this is how like, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. This is how convinced I was that my last mow was the last mow of the 2023 season. I hosed my damn lawnmower down. Hosed down like my dad. I used to make fun of my dad for doing that. I've become my parents. Hosed down the lawnmower. I arranged the garage to where all of the snow, like I've just, bowed down to winter coming. All of the summer and spring supplies, garden tools are furthest away. All the winter tools are where I can grab them quickly. The lawn or the snow blower is within reach. Now I've got to move the snow blower around to get to the lawnmower. I know it's all like pretty easy stuff, but like I was resigned. That's the word I was looking for. I was resigned to the fact that my mowing was done for the year. Nay, nay. Steroid grass says, nay, nay. So I guess it'll get me outside, get me some fresh air, do a little mowing today. I grilled last night. And so the way at the old house, our grill was like pushed up against the house, like around the corner. So it wasn't like, if it was cold, like winter cold, like we're talking like if it's like 20 degrees, not going to grill, not going outside. Because I have to walk around, I have to pull the grill out, and it's just a whole thing. And I know that sounds super lazy, and yes, it is. I understand. I'm okay with it. But here, the grill is just on the deck, just outside our kitchen. So it's like, boom, open the door. I can like touch the grill from the screen door, the sliding door. So do a little grilling. And it was nice. It was like nice last night. I could like stand outside and grill because I like to tend the grill. I don't like to leave the meat and walk away, right? I like to stand there and drink a beer and grill some burgers. So my wife went to the store. I went to the store Saturday night. I'm like, we need food. So what do I get? My wife's like, what'd you get? Just junk food? And I'm like, no. And she's like, Golden Grams? And I'm like, I need some cereal. I'm like, I got milk and I got skim milk. She's like, cookie dough gelato? Potato chips? I'm like, those are for you. Those Doritos are for you. So I failed to get like food, like food. So my wife went to the store. She's like, I got real food. I'm like, okay. So she's like, we're gonna have burgers. I'm like, is burgers real? Okay, I guess it is. So we grilled burgers, and I'm grilling burgers. I've said this before. My wife makes like the meatloaf burger, where it's like panko and ketchup and barbecue sauce and egg and all this bullshit in a burger. And I just eat like just meat, pepper. That's all I season my burger meat with, pepper. And throw it on the grill and take it off. It's like, and we had the little biscuit burger for Biscuit. She loves burger night. And so I take that off and go back. I'm like, yeah, probably about done. Take it off the grill. Yep, done. So I thought. So my wife's like enjoying it, her burger, and I bite it, and there's like raw meat. I'm like, this doesn't taste right. And I look, I'm like, oh, this is like raw. And I ate like half the burger. So, and I slept through the night okay. No bathroom runs, no puking or anything. So I'm like, Jesus Christ. And she's like, well, put it back on the grill. Okay. So put it back on the grill. And it's taking forever. And I bring it back in, and I had to bring the other. I'm like, can I just microwave it? She's like, no, that's not going to cook the meat. I'm like, okay. I bring it back in. It's still freaking raw. I'm like, what kind of meat? So now I'm blaming the meat. I'm not blaming the griller. I'm blaming the meat. Like, what kind of meat did you get? And so Cards for Kids says thin or fat. They were, I'd say medium. They're not like super big. They're not super thin. I'd say in between. In between. I wouldn't call it fat. I wouldn't call it thin. Somewhere in between. And so I'm like, what the hell's going on? And so my wife like reminds me that her burgers have like an eighth of the actual meat that my burgers have. Mine are like all meat. Hers are like freaking half panko. Okay, that makes sense. There's less meat to cook in yours. But I've never had this problem. Maybe I just cook hers longer because I always take them off at the exact same time for like the 7 or 8 years that we've been doing this. It took a couple years. So we've been together, what, 9 years? It probably took 2 years for my wife to like do her burgers. Like she would not eat red meat at all. So put them on for a third time. Finally, I got them cooked through. Like, okay, this is edible now. I like rare steak. In fact, I prefer it. Rare hamburger, not so much. So I don't want it dry, but I don't want it freaking raw. So got my burger. What else did I want to talk about? The hell time is it? I hate time changes. Just stick to one. I don't care which one it is. I don't care if it's daylight time or standard time. We're currently in standard time. And I knew, and I talked about this yesterday morning. So we're on day 2, and I still don't know what the hell time it is. I woke up super early last night. After we grilled early because now it's dark at like 4:00. So we grill early. We grilled. We watched like 2 episodes of Jeopardy. I had to grill a second time to get my meat finally cooked. Ate, did all the dishes, cleaned up, go to the couch. It's 6:25. You've got to be kidding me. It's got to be like 8:30, right? I look at my wife and I said, man, it's only 6:30. And she's like, no, it's not. I'm like, yeah, it is. She looks at her phone. She goes, "Oh my God." I'm like, "Yeah. Like, we have to be awake for another 3 hours. Like, what the hell's going on? I feel like it's almost bedtime." We did watch a movie. So we turned a movie on from, I think, Netflix. No Hard Feelings with, what's her name? Jennifer Lawrence, I believe. Funny movie. Of course, it's one of those it's a rom-com. So it's one of those movies where it's really super funny, like you're laughing your ass off, and then all of a sudden it gets serious, and it's like, oh. And then there's a happy ending, of course. Matthew Broderick's in it, who, wow. Like, I'm like, is that Matthew Broderick? Yeah. That's Ferris Bueller. I'm like, Jesus Christ. It's only 6:30 at night. Ferris Bueller looks like that. What the hell's the world coming to? What an evening. Wild night. Wild Sunday night. So, of course, I go to bed. So Biscuit is like on a timer, like 9 o'clock, boom. She's off the couch, ready to go to the bath, ready to go potty, ready to go to bed. 9 o'clock. Guess what? 8 o'clock on the dot. 8 o'clock on the dot, which the night before was 9 o'clock on the dot. Biscuit jumps off the couch, goes to the door. I'm like, Biscuit, it's only 8 o'clock. We have an hour. Dogs are confused. I'm confused. The world is confused. Stop the insanity with these damn time changes. So I made Biscuit wait an hour because she didn't have to go potty. She just wanted to go to bed. She's like, it's time for bed. I'm going to go potty and go to bed. No, you're going to suffer with the rest of us. You're going to stay up for another hour because we have to. So at 9 o'clock, I'm like dozing off. I'm like, okay, it's 9:02. Let's go potty. All right. What else is going on? Let's see the chat. Carlo does vintage. Good morning. This past weekend, 350 table Boston show. I was 1,006th paid admission. Dealer said foot traffic the same, but more lookers and non-buyers than last time. I had a great buying day. There you go. See, that's the positives. When there's more lookers and non-buyers, there's more opportunities for you as a buyer because those dealers want to sell, make some money, because if nobody else is buying, they've got to make money somewhere, and sometimes they chop those prices. It's kind of a trend. Card show traffic doesn't seem to be down at established shows, but the money being spent does. You know, for me, it's been up and down, but there's a correlation. There's a correlation as a dealer at a card show for me that when I have new, fresh quarter boxes, I make more money. New, fresh stuff typically equals more sales. Yes, there's less money in the room. Just means you have to be more competitive and try to get that leg up on the competition. So, but I've noticed the similar trends, same or similar amount of traffic, foot traffic, but less money being tossed around. It's not, of course, and we say this all the time, it's not 2021, 2022 anymore. Harlan's in the house. What's up, Harlan? Good morning. Shane is here. Good morning. Hope everyone had a great weekend. I'm looking forward to next weekend where I'm getting out of the house. I didn't really leave the house yesterday or this whole weekend. Actually, no, we went to some friend's house on Saturday. They just built a house. So we checked that out. We were there for a couple hours. It was nice to like have a break because usually my only break from cards is a card show. So it's not really a break from cards. Like I just don't have breaks because I choose not to. And that's my own fault, my choice. Collector's Dream, what's up? Good morning. David's in the house. Good morning. Boston Smoke is here. Steel Cards is here. Good morning. Red Light 34, what's happening? Victor, good morning. Congrats to the Cubbies for winning the award. So yes, the gold gloves were given out yesterday. 3 for the first time in Chicago Cubs history. 3 Cubs are gold glove winners. Middle infield of shortstop Dansby Swanson, second baseman Nico Horner, and left fielder Ian Happ, gold gloves 2023 First time in franchise history for the Cubs. Merle, good morning. Maddie Ice is here. Good morning to you. Red light mode yesterday. I considered mowing yesterday because it was also nice yesterday. Here's the thing. Here's why I didn't. Couple reasons. A, I wanted to be lazy yesterday. And I wasn't lazy. Like I did a lot of shipping. I was very productive shipping. I listed some cards. And then I just wanted to hang out in the rec room, watch football, and list some lots. I listed lots, and then I'd go on the couch and I'd log some cards on trading card database and vice versa, go back and forth. So watch the Bears game. And after the Bears game, I had a Christmas movie on, a Hallmark Christmas movie. It was a nice little day, nice little Sunday. Plus another reason, that was the main reason. Secondary reason, the lawn waste dump, because I bag my grass. That sounds illegal, bagging my grass. So I bag my grass. But the dump is, I guess I could have bagged it and then taken it over like today, because I think it's open like 10 to 3 on Mondays. But then Tuesdays it's open later. So I'm like, if I mow Monday, it's going to be even warmer Monday today. So I'll mow Monday and I can either take it, if I do it during the day, I can take it before they close. Otherwise, I can take it at some point Tuesday. But I don't want to leave. And my car's empty of cards. So I haven't loaded up my card show inventory for this coming Saturday, which I'm scrolling at the bottom of the screen. I'll be set up in Rockford this Saturday. I'll have all new bargain boxes, but they'll be dime boxes. So I'll have dime boxes. I think I'll bring my quarter or my dollar boxes as well. And I don't know if James is with us, but I did order supplies because they do have Columbia Wholesale had a Black Friday or Black November going on. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have to order it at some point this month anyway. Might as well order it now. So I ordered card savers, just one case of top loaders because I haven't been selling those as very fast. And then a whole bunch of penny sleeves because I need some. And those I do tend to sell at card shows. Merle says mowing lets you mulch up those leaves. So we had cleaners or landscape cleaners. And there's so most of the leaves have fallen. So I don't have many leaves in the yard now because we had people like do what do they call it? That fall cleanup or end of year cleanup for landscaping. They clip the flowers and the like dead things on flowers and stuff that I have no idea what I would be doing, and I'd probably ruin the flowers. So they come and do that. But of course, I mean, leaves come in from other neighbors' trees that may not have fallen yet, the leaves. So there are a few leaves, but it's not terrible. But yes, the few leaves that are that have fallen into my yard can get mulched up. Sage, good morning. You as well. Value Box Digger says my NFL team is proving they are better than those Packers everyone claims is so great, which may I remind you had a Hall of Fame quarterback for 3 years and has 2 rings. So, even Packer fans thought they were going to suck this year. Max, where's Max? Max thought the Packers were going to be the worst team in the NFC North. I think. Did he say that, or did he say the Bears and then the Packers were going to be the second? I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure Max thought the Packers were going to be bad. I think I said the Packers were going to be in last. So yeah, I actually didn't see what other scores there were. I just briefly read because I'm kind of paying closer attention to like the bottom of the standings and in the teams with the worst records for draft order. Bears lost. I think Patriots lost. I think Panthers lost. Basically, the top 5 draft order doesn't change week over week. All the teams with the top 5 in order remain the same. Bill's with us. What's up? Good morning, Bill. Matty Ice says, goodbye, Stroman. I can't imagine that was a smart decision for him. So here's what I think. I think Stroman wants to go to California. I think he wants to go to LA. He is a genius entrepreneur. Stroman is going to make more money and probably already makes more money with his business ventures than he does playing baseball. So my thought is he's going to go to LA, where he can have more opportunities as a businessman with his off the field ventures. And so he'll probably take a baseball pay cut because he opted in with the Cubs, he would have made $21 million this year. That's a lot of money. But I think he'll be able to take less money, but the opportunities will be greater for him in another market than Chicago for what he does. So that's my my thoughts on what's going on, because it was, when I first saw it, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. And then it's like, oh wait, he's quite the entrepreneur. So New York, LA, Miami. So markets like that where he can, I don't think Chicago is a good market for his business ventures, even though Chicago is a huge city. I think he'd be better off with that, California, New York, or Florida. Let's see. Value Box Digger says, but the AFC North, that is going to be a fun division to watch this second half of the season. They're all 625 and better. So AFC North, is that? Cincinnati, Cleveland? See, I'm all confused since they went to north, south, east, west. Let's go to the score app. Standings. AFC North. Ravens, Steelers, Browns, Bengals. Wow, yeah, look at that. So the Ravens are in first place in the AFC North, 7-2. The rest of the division, 5-3. AFC East, the Dolphins are in first. Jets are a couple games back. Dolphins have played 2 more games than the Jets. So the Jets must play Monday night. Is that right? AFC South, Jacksonville has a good lead. Houston, second place, 4-4. AFC West, oh wow, that's like the Chiefs, and that's it. Chiefs are 7-2. Second place, Raiders 4-5. NFC East, how about the Eagles? Pretty commanding lead, 8-1. Philly, Cowboys are in second, 5-3. NFC North, Lions 6-2. Vikings 5-4. Packers 3-5, and the Bears 2-7. NFC South, Saints 5-4, Falcons 4-5, Bucks 3-5, and then the Panthers only 1 win. NFC West, pretty tight at top, pretty tight at the bottom. 49ers, Seahawks tied 5-3, Rams 3-6, Cardinals 1-8. So there you go. Red Light says, do some manly work like mow the yard. Right, I'll go change my oil and mow the yard. So the title here should say season changes are not cool. That's correct. Season changes suck. Time changes suck. Good morning, Johnny M. Went to my only monthly show this weekend. 16 unhappy dealers. I did well. Were you a dealer or were you not a dealer? Was it 16 unhappy dealers and Johnny, or just 16 unhappy dealers and a happy buyer? So Johnny, so basically the kind of the feeling I'm getting from what many people, so we've had Johnny was at, and I think Johnny, you're out east, right? So I'm wondering where you're at. Who set up here? Somebody says Carlo. Carlo says his 350 Boston show, dealer said foot traffic was the same, but more lookers and non-buyers. We had reports out of Oak Creek that it was a slower show. We had reports that La Crosse was slower. I think somebody mentioned on Hobby Hotline that Dallas was slower the first night. So I'm not sure. And I'm sure the first night's, that's kind of one of those where, well, we'll see how the rest of the weekend goes. So I'm curious, for those that went to Dallas this weekend, how was Dallas like Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Or was Friday the first day? I think Friday was the first day. So kind of the trend we're seeing is slow card shows. Hopefully that's not the case for next Saturday in Rockford or in a couple weeks in Madison. Let's see. Merle says, have you thought about getting a goat? There's probably laws against that. Pet peeve, dealers who don't price cards before the show and expect me to wait while they comp on eBay. Amen. 100%. Not a card in the world I want bad enough to wait for your lazy ass. So there are cards that I will wait and I will ask. But it's not going to be a 2021 first Bowman Chrome auto. That's certainly not something that I'm going to ask. But if it's a T207 that I don't see, I'll be like, what's your price on that? But yes, I agree. And I hear it because I'm a dealer myself. So I'm around dealers at multiple card shows, 2 or 3 a month. And I hear it all the time. I just didn't have time to price. Just didn't have time. It's like, make the time, man. And then at the end of the day, it wasn't a very good show. Didn't sell much. Well, price your damn cards. Brought the same stuff as last. Did good last month. Brought the same stuff. Had a shitty day. No shit. Mark Marinello, what's up? Good morning. Is there a quarterback controversy in Chicago? Never was. Bajan looked. I do want to go in on this. So, is there a quarterback controversy in Chicago? 0%. Absolutely not. Bajan looked good yesterday. At times, yes. Do they draft another quarterback in the draft? I say no. They stick with Justin Fields. There's no quarterback controversy. Justin Fields is the clear number 1. Tyson Bagent is the clear number 2. Do they draft another quarterback? God, I hope not. A few weeks ago, I thought, but again, and here I am falling to the Chicago football trap. Who's the most popular quarterback in Chicago? The backup. And I'm singing a different tune now that Justin Fields hasn't been on the field the last couple games. Oh, he's our guy. He'll come back. I think they play Thursday night. He'll come back. He'll look like crap. They'll lose. Oh, we got to draft a quarterback. I'm falling into that Chicago football trap, fan trap. Tyson Bagent had some good conversation via text and stuff yesterday about Tyson Bagent. I thought he looked good yesterday. He committed like 5 turnovers. I still thought he looked good. Why do I think he looked good? Because some people were like, oh my God, he looked terrible. That one pass he threw was terrible. He fumbled. Terrible decision. I think he committed 4 turnovers. I think there might have been a lost fumble also from somebody else. But he was responsible for at least 4 turnovers, maybe 5. But he was responsible for, 4 turnovers. But he looked good. And what I mean by that is some of the greatest. Remember, he's only played 3 games in the NFL, and he's a Division II quarterback. He came out of Division II. He's a young kid. He made his 3rd NFL start yesterday. Some of the greatest quarterbacks, and no, I'm not comparing him to some of the greatest quarterbacks, but hear me out. Some of the greatest quarterbacks have thrown 5 interceptions in a game, have looked absolutely terrible in a game. You can put a 3-game span of Peyton Manning in his rookie year, and I bet he looked just as bad as Tyson Bagent at times yesterday. No, I'm not comparing Tyson Bagent to Peyton Manning or any other great quarterback. What I'm saying is, for who he is, he looked really good. He looked poised. He looked like a veteran. He made veteran decisions. He looked comfortable. He did make good decisions. Yes, he made a few very bad decisions, but he looked good. Now I'm going to say, is he a starting quarterback in the NFL? I don't think so. That doesn't mean that at some point in time he turns into one. I think what Tyson Bagent is going to be in the NFL is a solid backup quarterback. He's a guy you want as a backup. He's a guy that if your starter goes down and Bagent for a few games, now if your starter goes down week 1 for the entire season, it's like, oh shit, we have Tyson Bagent for the whole season. It's not looking great. But if your quarterback goes down for a few games, like this case right now with Justin Fields, he should be back next weekend. Tyson Bagent has to go in for a few games. He's going to be solid. So that's my thought. No quarterback controversy. Bagent looked good overall, though he did make some very poor decisions. And hopefully the Bears do not draft another quarterback. Mike Smith in the house. Is that Mike Smith? Who? Is that Mike Smith? Who? Is that what it is? Or is it Mike somebody else? My Dogecoin is pumping today, 7.3 cents. Great time to buy Dogecoin. I think I have some Dogecoin. Let's see. We're pumping Dogecoin this morning. Doge. I think Elon Musk calls it Dogecoin. I don't like that. Doge. Just call it a Doge. Yep, I have some. What's my return? Not much. So my portfolio of Dogecoin is not going up much. Let's see. Bajit looks like the real deal in Chicago, but most will not talk of him because it's the Bears, not the Patriots or 49ers. Mike says, I sold some hockey cards this week. Did I really? I know I sold like one. I think I just sold one. Flawed Thinker in the house. What's up? Good morning. Go Redskins. Mike's going low roller in the house looking for some skill games. Brian is here. What's up? Good morning. Let's blame the farmers. Donald is here. Good morning. Oh, yes, about the time changes. Yes. And I think aren't we like technology? Like we don't need daylight anymore. We have a thing called lights. Running Buck Woodcraft. What's going on? Anyone planning to buy 2023 Topps Archives baseball? I think the collector's tin lunchbox idea is pretty cool. Thinking about picking up when they go on sale this week. So here's my thought on, because I actually have an opinion. I have an opinion on a lot of things, I think. But I do have an opinion. Some things you can sway me one way or the other. Topps Archives, I'm pretty staunch in my opinion. Am I buying Topps Archives? Yes. Am I buying hobby boxes? No. This is anecdotal, in a very, very small sample size, but in the past, 7 years, 8 years, almost 10 years. Because Topps Archives was the very first product that I fell in love with when I returned to the hobby. I never left the hobby, but I was I dabbled for a long time. But when I got back in around 2012, I was kind of in it for the long haul. And Topps Archives and Allen and Ginter were the two products that I fell in love with coming back in for new products. And early on, the first few years, I didn't buy hobby boxes. I just bought, because I wasn't in it to flip. I was just buying, a few blasters here and there. I was a very, what's the word I'm looking, casual. I was a very casual collector. And I didn't really have a focus. And then once I had a focus, which by 2015 and 16 turned into ripping and flipping. And so, of course, then I'm going hobby. And what I learned was when I would buy retail, because sometimes retail would come out before I would get the hobby boxes, I would pull I think I bought early on, I bought one hobby box of, I probably bought a few hobby boxes over the years. But what I learned was my hobby box yielded 2 autos that were the same that I got in 4 blaster box. I was pulling an auto 1 out of 3 or 4 blasters. And I think the odds back at that time were 1 in 6. I'm sure they're much longer now. But I would spend $60 for 2 autos. And, or I guess it was more than, it was $20 a blaster. So 5 or 6, I'd spend $100 or $120 for 2 autos. I'd spend the same amount for a hobby box and I'd get more cards with the blasters. I don't know. I haven't looked at, because I've pretty much resigned. That's my word today, resigned. I resigned to the fact that I'm just not a buyer with Topps Archives hobby. I'll go look for it in Walmart or Target and buy some at retail. I guess we can go and see what's Blowout have them for, because I'm pretty sure they're $120 for a hobby box. Topps Archives. Do we have wave 3 yet for Black November? No, we're still on wave 2. Topps Archives. Let's see. 23. Oh, wow. So they've got a new thing called a collector's box. That's interesting. They're only $70. So a hobby box is $128. No, I'm not paying $128 for 2 on-card autographs of likely Ron Gant and Brad Radke. So 128 bucks. Let's see, 24 packs, 8 cards per pack. So per hobby box, you're getting 192 cards. We're mathing this morning. 128 divided by 192. So you're paying 67 cents per card in a hobby box with 2 autos. And you're probably going to get like a parallel as well. So what's this collector's box thingy? So a collector's box is 70. You get 1 on-card auto per box. You get 80 cards. 1 auto. So you're paying 70 divided by 80. Paying 88 cents in the collector's box. And then what's the retail SKU? They don't have any on blowout, so we're going to have to go Google it. 2023 Topps Archives. We got any pre-orders yet? Topps Archives Blaster. There we go. Okay, do we find any? Oh, here we go. Steel City. Configuration. Thank you. So you get 56 cards, and you're at 25 bucks. So a blaster. So if you're looking for price per card, blaster's the way to go. You're only paying 44 cents per card. Now, of course, there's no guarantee for an auto, but a lot of the Topps Archives autos are of guys like I just mentioned, like Brad Radke, Sean Dunston, like $5 autos. Now, do you have a chance at a Mike Trout or Ohtani or Gunnar Henderson or Adley Rutschman? Sure. So that's your breakdown. So blaster box, you're paying 44 cents per card. The hobby boxes, you're paying 67 cents per card, but you're also guaranteed 2 autographs. And the collector's box, which is a new SKU, you're paying 88 cents per card. You're guaranteed 1 autograph there. So that's your price breakdown. You're able to get 5 blaster boxes. So for the price of 1 hobby box, you get 192 cards plus 2 autos for we're just going to ignore taxes because it's going to vary depending on which state you live in. So we're just going to go with the retail price, $127.95. You can get let's see, 5 times $24.99. So you can get 5 blasters for $124.95. And you're getting, dropping shit. You're getting 5 times 56. You're getting 280 cards for $3 less. So you buy 5 blaster boxes. Now there's no autograph guarantee, but you might. I've pulled 2 autos out of 5 blasters of archives. 280 cards for $3 less than a hobby box. You're getting 192 cards and 2 autos with 1 hobby box for $127.95. 5 blaster boxes, you're paying $124.95 with 280 cards. In archives, by the way, and I've said this before, archives is a great singles flip on eBay. Topps Archives in a year are a good seller. So you can sell those low dollar singles on eBay. It's not like Topps Flagship where they basically become worthless after a week. Where we at? Cards for Kids says, good morning from the Northwest. Still damn dark out. We got light. Of course, it's 2 hours later. It's we're at, wait, what time is it? Oh, it's 7:40. See, I'm confused. I'm like, it's 8:41. No, it's 7:41. Like, shit, what time do I go live? I go live at 7. See, I'm still confused. 7:41. Flawed Thinker, do you think Colson Montgomery is a good buy this offseason? Most likely will be called up next year. I think so because his stuff's not selling right now. What do you do when other people zig, you zag? Nobody's zigging on Colson Montgomery. So like I've got his first Bowman Chromes in my eBay store for like $250 and they're not moving. So potentially if you think he's going to get called up, I don't know one way or the other, but I can tell you that I'm not moving his first Bowman Chromes at $250 shipped. So that typically tells me that not many people are buying. So that could provide a good buying opportunity for Colson Montgomery. If you think he's likely to be called up, you're going to get right now is a really bad time to buy. And if he does get called up, you're going to probably see a spike. And it may be a small flip, but it could be a good flip. Sal Dougie's in the house. Good morning. What's going on? Zach says, good morning. And he says to the flawed thinker, the White Sox will ruin him when he gets to the show. There you go. He also plays for the White Sox. So keep that in mind. Zach says to Mike, you should reach out to Low Roller Scratcher. I believe he lives by you and he has ways to get around the ban and taxes. There you go. Red Light bags his grass and throws it in the trash can. You know what my biggest pet peeve is? Not my biggest. One of my biggest. I don't know what my biggest pet peeve is, but one of my biggest pet peeves this time of year, burning your leaves. Now, if you live out in the country, burn them. But if you live in town, I have a Facebook friend who's all pissed off because my town, I wish my town would have had burn days when I was growing up. They didn't. You could just burn shit whenever you wanted. And it's a smoke-filled haze throughout the town. He's bitching because it's almost, it's like, wait a second. I don't understand this. He's bitching because it's a non-burn day. It's such a beautiful sunny day to burn leaves, but it's a non-burn day. Wait a second. That's an oxymoron. So you want to ruin a beautiful, warm, sunny fall afternoon by burning your fucking leaves? Get out of here. It's not going to be a beautiful, sunny fall afternoon anymore. It's going to be a smoke-filled haze. You can't open your windows. You can't even fucking breathe when you go outside. Stop burning your goddamn leaves. That's my soapbox. I hate it. Absolutely hate burning leaves. I think I hate burning leaves more than stinky ass feet in sandals. I don't want to see your gross ass feet either. Can you imagine people in their gross ass feet wearing sandals, burning leaves? Good morning, TD Sports Cards. What's happening? Mike Smith says to Zach, you should be buying Dogecoin at 7 cents. He says he knows. Mike Smith knows that Dogecoin will reach $1 the next bull run. He bets his house. Let's talk. Let's wager. I'll bet your house. Let's see. Value box digger. We have actual, but we need a timeline. Like it's got the bull run. It's not like ever. It's not like in perpetuity. Value box digger says we have actual garbage cans for yard waste here. Do others not have this service? We don't. So we have, and I know this varies by different municipalities. We have a dump. So what I do is I bag my grass and sticks and leaves, and then you dump it at the lawn waste. And it's actually not just a lawn. You can take your cardboard there. It's actually a pretty legit facility. And you just drive in, and like as you drive in, there's like you can drop off your like TVs and computer monitor. There's like an electronics division. And then cardboard is over here. You can dump trash. Like if you miss trash day, you can dump trash. And then you drive around and there's these mounds of leaves and yard waste. And then I bag my grass, throw it in the back of my car, drive it over to the dump. It used to be like literally a block away from the old house. It was like you could actually see it from my backyard. Now I'm 2 miles away. So I've got to drive a whole whopping 2 miles, but that's what we do. I think on certain weeks you can bag it and put it on the curb, but you have to pay. Like you have to have like a lawn sticker. I don't know if actually now that I think about it, I don't think we actually have that service here. I think you have to like drive it. I don't know. Maybe we do. But I know in some places, I think when I lived in Macomb, you could buy it at like the grocery store. You could go to various businesses in town. You could buy a lawn waste sticker, and it's like $1 per tag. And then you would bag it, and then you would wrap this sticker, and the trash would come around. Like, I think it was with the trash, or I'm sure it was didn't go with the trash, but a different trash truck would pick up your lawn waste. Let's see. Max is in the house. Daddy is here. I picked us last. If you aren't the Lions, you don't matter. There you go, Max. There you go. Let's see. Zach and Porter says Cologne. Colson. Colson is dominating AZL, so a lot of us fans are excited, but we are all negative on the club, so don't listen to us. I recall Stroman buying a box of baseball cards or something like that. Pardon me if I don't take his investment advice immediately. Mark Marinello, Giants lost the game in Daniel Jones for the season with a torn ACL. They may pass the Cardinals and Panthers for the number 1 pick. So who's the backup in New York? Let's see. Where are the Giants at? Have you watched a Bears game or a Panthers game? I don't know if the Giants can be that bad. Let's see. Oh, wow. Giants are 2-7. So they're right in the thick of things for the worst. So you may be onto something. Let's see. Jets fan for almost 50 years. I've seen this horror movie before and know how it ends. Tracy's in the house. Good morning. Max says, I'll take 2 rings in 30 years over the franchise not having a ring at all. Same thing Brewers fans say about the 100 years things. There you go. There you go. Johnny Boy Cards, good morning. Happy Monday. Minnesota will be interesting for show traffic this weekend since promoters are not working together and have 4 shows within 30 miles of each other happening on the same day. Holy crap. Yeah, that's brutal. Like, because I'm sure there's not many there can't in that area. I know it's a big area, but still. Like, I don't think even me in like the last 2 years complaining of how many there's oversaturation, there's so many shows here in this area, the region. Like, I don't think like I would compare like Milwaukee. Like, there's never been 4 shows within 30 miles of Milwaukee on the same day. Probably at one point there was 3 maybe, but certainly not 4. A lot. When the weather is bad here in Oregon, I just grab my good card boxes and a coffee and look at them thinking I should list them. There you go. And then just do it. Just do it. That's actually kind of fun yesterday when I was watching the football. Going through my Cubs, and I'm like, oh, yeah. Because I've been listing a lot on Trading Card Database, and I'm just kind of picking because I don't want to just what I don't want to do is list willy-nilly all these random cards, which I'm kind of doing, but there is kind of a method to my madness. I don't want to grab a box of just commons and start listing, and they're not sorted in any manner. So what I'm doing is I'm just pulling like my like cards and top loaders, refractors, parallels, autographs, and I'm listing those. And then on occasion, I'll grab a stack of like Sandbergs or Ernie Banks because at least they're sorted by player. So they'll go into a box, Sandberg, Banks, blah, blah, blah. So I actually texted Zach yesterday because I had a question. Maybe Jenny can answer it in here. The rankings. So for whatever reason, like, because I love chasing numbers. And especially like that's what I love about Trading Card Database. You have the rankings. But my rankings for my team collection, the Cubs, doesn't update like automatically. And there's even a delay. Like, I don't think it's updated yet since yesterday. But like my names, so did I update? So like Ernie Banks, like I added a new Ernie Banks card. It went up like boom right away. And my rankings, it didn't move me in the rankings because I'm still a few away from the next spot. But my teams, it's not moving. So like Chicago Cubs, I have 1,441 unique Cubs, 0.7% complete of the entire Chicago Cubs run. Let's see. But it says I'm ranked 919 among Cubs collectors on trading card database. But what was my number again? 1441. But that 919 on the rankings shows only 1,281 cards. So it hasn't updated my Cubs number, which is weird. It does players, even those cards that I updated, it updated. So I should be, based on I forgot the number again. Was it 1441? I should be 773. So that's fun, just moving up. And I've only listed, how many cards have I listed total? Cubs cards total on trading card database, 6,158. So I've listed, like, that's what, 0.5% of my Cubs collection? 6,158 divided by 990,000. Yeah, about just over 0.5%. Of course, duh. Of course, that's 0.5%. A little over 0.5%. So there you go. Let's see, where are we at? Mark says, my buddy Rich did the Boston show and said he did okay. The show I went to yesterday in New Jersey was very slow, but I did well with high number 72 baseball. Merle says, to Value Box, where do you live? I'm on the south side of the cities. Promoters are saying people will go to all shows because they are close to each other. I personally disagree because when there's 50 plus tables and 100 plus table shows, people spent their money. And the problem is you only have a certain amount of dealers that are going to come to the shows. So when you spread that out to 4 shows, does the 100 plus table show actually have 100 plus filled tables? So that's, some people, depending on hours, yes, some people will go to 2 different shows depending on the hours. But it's still not a wise idea because you're pulling, you could, I don't know. I'm sure there's like an ego war of egos or something going on. Cooter says, Moynihan said in his video that Dallas energy and attendance was down. Said it was slow Friday and at times on Saturday. So it's even at the top of the shows, Dallas, slow and low energy. Stuke says there were less people at Dallas if I go by where I parked in the ramp. Friday was slow, maybe due to the Rangers celebration. Heard up to 500,000 there. Saturday was better, down from last time. Oh yeah, I forgot the Rangers parade was Friday, and I'm sure that did take a little bit of traffic away. All things said, I found some good items at the Dallas show, and the best part, it was fun. So there's a trend here. Have you been sensing the trend where traffic is down at shows, but everybody says, but I did good? Why is that? Because the traffic was down. You as a buyer have less competition, and the sellers are making less money, and they're giving you deals. So when shows are slow, the buyers win. It looks like everybody that's mentioned that, well, the traffic was down, the show was slow, but I did good. So there you go. Value Box Digger, some of the greatest quarterbacks. Mahomes didn't throw a single touchdown in a game last week. Broncos going on a playoff run. There you go. Mike Jones. Who? Mike Smith. Who? Mike Jones. I should have known. Mark Marinello says, for all you young whippersnappers, look up Terry Bradshaw's stats. His first 3 seasons, not very pretty. Wound up winning 4 Lombardis and a gold jacket. Sometimes you have to be patient. Peyton Manning's rookie year was brutal. Flawed Thinker says, I had $2 left in my FanDuel account, so I put it on a 10-leg parlay and ended up winning $20. Nice. Bajan is clearly a backup quarterback with backup quarterback limitations. Absolutely. Let's see. Just read an article on Bradshaw last night. He used to throw the football into a snowbank as a kid because he didn't have anyone to play with. Bet every kid would have played with him if they only knew. Terry Bradshaw can't spell cat if you spotted the C and the A. Johnny M says, ordered a box of 22 wildcard mat football premium blaster, 20-box case from Blowout, 1 auto per box, 800 cards total, $200 a case, 25 cents per card. Don't think I can lose on this one. That's, I'm going to look that up. So what's 20, that was last year? Wild card. That's good value. I like those cheap cases. Uh, da, 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 da. Was it the wild card mat for $180? Wild card mat. 20 box lot. 20 boxes per lot, 4 packs per box, 10 cards per pack. 2 blaster box exclusives, dueling guns, bronze, weekend warrior. Look for randomly inserted blue chase packs. Wonder what those do. Do we have a checklist? I'm going to look this up. Thanks for dropping that info. I'm going to look that up to see what the checklist looks like. Cards for Kids says, here's a good show topic for the future. What card pull got you hooked into the hobby? I think, have I talked about that before? So for me, there wasn't one. I think it was the thrill of opening a pack. I don't recall ever pulling a big card that like hooked me in. Like it was just, I was hooked from the first pack I opened. Like I remember the first packs I opened and I just wanted to open more. I don't think there was a single card that just like hooked me in. But later on, there were products that I think that was the case. Allen and Ginter, that was one of my favorite products, and I opened that was like the first hobby box I opened since the 90s, in 2012 or 2013, and I pulled a Willie Mays Rip card out of a hobby box. You know, I bought some blasters, went to a card shop, bought a hobby box. I'm like, man, I haven't bought a hobby box in 15 years. And I pulled a Willie Mays Rip card. I'm like, ooh, this is fun. Because at the time, I think a box was like $75. I think I sold the Willie Mays for almost $200 back in, 10 years ago, 12 years ago. That hooked me into Allen and Ginter, and then I had good luck moving forward with that product. Daylight savings was a hindrance on farmers because they used the morning light to get to markets, was actually created because workers wouldn't stop by stores on the way home to buy goods in the dark. Money rules all. Yes, it does. Brian, what's up? Good morning. He had a huge eBay sales weekend, only 10 items sold, but made over 120. How was everyone else's? My eBay sales were down on Saturday, but I think they were up a little bit on Sunday, but still below where I would like to be. I mean, I'm going to say that no matter where my sales are at. My Sunday was average. My Sunday was average. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all well below average. Terrible Wednesday through Saturday. Sunday was average, and I've already made some sales. Today's looking decent. My impressions are starting to improve. But we're also going into some of the worst times for card sales. So hopefully we can weather the storms of the next 2 months. Card hobbyist, good morning. Zach and Porter says, Bo, you just said ignore taxes on your channel. You have finally been influenced by LRS. Good morning, Kyle. What's up? Catching you on the road. Hey, I don't think you were with me live yesterday. My alma mater plays at Lena Winslow this Saturday. I think that's kind of in your neck of the woods. And I'm considering, after the card show in Rockford on Saturday, I'm thinking about going over there depending on how the show is. The kickoff is at 2:00. We'll see where the show's at 2:00. I think it's about 40 minutes from the show to Lena Winslow High School. And they're really good, really, really good. My alma mater's good. So it could be an ugly game for my team. Peter, what's up? Good morning. I'm late. Can you please start over from the top? Let's see. I ate half a raw hamburger last night. I hate daylight savings. I've got a mow today. The Bears suck. That's about it. That's the Cliff Notes version of the first hour. Do not burn your leaves if you live out in the country. There is no fire hydrants and you pay the bill. This has been learned by experience of fires from a rock hit by a lawnmower. Okay, there you go. Don't burn your leaves. Just don't burn your leaves. Let nature do its work. My last fall at my lake home, 225 bags of leaves to the compost site. Love my townhome. I hate leaves. I'm discovering now. I love trees. I hate leaves. I love leaves when they're on trees. It looks like it's going to rain. I hope it doesn't rain. I love leaves when they're on trees, but once they fall, I hate them. Don't come up here if you have an aversion to things burning, especially leaves. Also, nothing wrong with sandals. Wear those 10 months out of the year. I don't want to see your gross feet. I hate, if you want to burn some Mary Jane, that's cool. I don't like cigarettes. I don't like leaves burning. I guess I just don't like smoke. Victor, what's up? Good morning. Men in public without a shirt on is my biggest pet peeve. It's like, is your ego that big? And most are out of shape. I like it. Brian says, I never understood why people like to burn leaves, yard waste, etc. It always smells so bad. It does. And it stinks up a beautiful day. Oh, I can get on board with a small fire pit. See, that's different. A fire pit. Yes, I'm on board with a fire pit. Yes, absolutely. 100%. 100%. Small little fire pit with some logs. Absolutely. A big pile in the front of your house on the street of leaves? No. TD Sports Cards was sad to see Tim Anderson will be leaving the White Sox, but might be the time to start off fresh somewhere else, maybe second base on the Tigers. Max, what the hell? Burning leaves smells great. What is wrong with you? Dan loves it too. What the hell? You guys are weird. Bruce says, Confucius say, can you waste time? Rich Klein says, what's up, Uncle Rich? Nothing like joining the chat just in time to hear about dumps. There you go. The Vikings backup quarterback Dobbs looked good. Just finished watching game highlights. Taylor is the backup for the Giants. Which Taylor? Taylor. Is it Taylor Heineke or is it somebody with a last name Taylor? Value Box Digger wants to know. Who wants to know? How was the Dallas show? Bitcoin is the only crypto to buy. I bought low 3 years ago, sold at 5x profit, then bought back when it dived. Rich says the Dallas show was pretty decent this weekend, as an FYI. Sunday was a bit better than I expected as well. Brian says, congrats on 3 Cubs winning Gold Gloves. Yes, also hit on that. Sunday was a bit better. Oh, we just talked about that. Great quote by Hollywood Henderson. Let's see. What was that quote? Did I miss that? Let's see. Where are we at? Value Box Digger says, I'm not sure on the answer to that TCDB question. Duke bought some great items from Moynihan at the Dallas Card Show. Collector's Dream was in Fort Lauderdale. It was pretty busy, especially dollar boxes. Okay, I think that's the first card show. We've had people at Boston. Where was Johnny at? Johnny was at a show. Somebody else was at a show, I think, out east. We heard Dallas was slow. We heard La Crosse and Oak Creek were slow. Fort Lauderdale was pretty busy. Dan's in the house. What's up, Dan? Johnny says, I bought the case, not the lot. Oh, on wild card. Oh, this is the lot. The lot is $180. And the case. Here it is. Yeah. 20-box blaster case. 200. Before I forget, I'm going to type in 22 wild card Matt football checklist. And then I want to see what prices they're going. Bo is old enough to be opening packs pre-hits, so that joy is more modern. You know, we still had hits though, right? We still had hits of like 89. We were looking for Billy Rip. Like if you pulled a Billy Ripken F-face, that was a hit. Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card. We had hits, but they were base. For us older people, it might be getting someone like Ty Griffin. Yes, that was a hit for me. Or some guy named Mickey Charles Mantle. There you go. It hit different. Shane was hooked on cards when I found out they were worth money. That's kind of like I was an entrepreneur since I remember. I was like Ed, and Eddie as a kid, always looking for a way to make some money. Amen. Same here. Same here. God, I was like 7 or 8 years old, and remember Highlights magazine or like Highlights newsletters or whatever you got in school. So we had like I think at the end of the year, we had like teachers would like just we have all these extra highlight, magazines, and like the kids could take whatever they wanted. I took the stack of highlights, and it was like we had town wide yard sales basically right around the same time that school was getting out, like in May. And one year I was in like second grade, and I like, because I wanted to make some money, I'm like, oh, I've got all these highlight magazines. People will buy these. So I took them home. My mom had a garage sale, and I don't think I sold any, but I wanted to. I was looking to make a buck, man. And I was opening packs. And then when I found out there was a price guide and these cards were worth money, like, whoa, this pack was only 35 cents. And I pulled a 75-cent card, doubled my money. Hall of Fame card collector. How do I get 20 to 40 sales a day consistently? Have any advice? How did you do it? Well, I just listed more and more. The more I listed, the more I sold eventually. You have to list good stuff, though. And I'm not saying like it has to be high-end stuff. I mean, it's got to be good stuff at good prices. You got to list what people want at prices people will pay. There's no, like, I can't tell you exactly what cards will sell. I don't even know that. Sometimes I'll pull cards out and it's like, I bet this will sell. Sometimes it does. A lot of times it doesn't. So, and I'm a volume seller, low dollar volume seller. So, I'll list this stuff. Boomer Esiason Mosaic retail color, $1.75 free shipping. And you just list a whole bunch of it. And the more you list, eventually the more you will sell. And you'll see the more you list, you should, if you're listing properly and the right prices and the right inventory, you'll see your sales on a daily basis grow from 5 a day to 10 a day, 15, 20, 40, 100. And eventually you'll get there. You just have to be consistent. You have to be motivated to keep listing, because there's going to be time. The last 4 days outside of yesterday, it's like, man, this sucks. Like I keep listing and nothing's selling. Not nothing, but my sales are lower than what I want them to be. But there are going to be times when your sales will be down in the dumps. And that doesn't matter. It's not just baseball cards or football cards or sports cards or trading cards. It's everything. It's real estate. It's copy machines, services. So there's always going to be a downtime when you're in sales. You got to work through it. Let's see. I have off of work all this week. Let me know if you need help sorting or something. Can you ship? You want to be my shipping manager this week? Just went on Blowout to look for the wild card case and saw that they have the archive snapshots for $25. What a deal. Guaranteed auto for less than a blaster. Max says, who doesn't love fire smell? Laugh my ass off. You just said you like a fire smell yourself. I don't like any fire smell. There's some smoke smells that I like. I like flavored smoke smells, like pipe tobacco. I love the smell of pipe tobacco. I hate the smell of burning leaves. I hate the smell of cigarette smoke. I don't like the smell of a fire pit, but I enjoy what a fire pit brings. Like watching the fire. I don't like the smell of it, but I like the just what it represents. What other smoke smells do I like? I like tobacco, so pipe tobacco smoke. It's about the only smoke I like. Let's see. Mark Hoyle was at the Shriner show. Mark was in Jacksonville, pretty busy. Setup and raw vintage was moving. There you go. Now we're getting some positive momentum on card shows. Minnesota promoters are blaming it on it's when they can get into a venue, which is true. Only dates open. That's very true. But I think they would be better off working together as a big show. That actually might be worse off because here's why that's not a good idea. Because say you do work together on a 100 table show. Say two guys are doing a 50 table show. Their net profits are their own. Say it's one guy and one guy. Their net profits are their own. Now they do a 100 table show. They're splitting profits. They're splitting expenses, and they may not fill 100. Might only be 75 tables, making less money. There's sometimes there's egos involved. People can't work together. Sometimes it's worse off than just saying, "Hey, how about everybody?" Because we've had like in this area, like, this promoter, that promoter, this promoter, that promoter, like the 5 of you should all go in on a show together. It's like, well, now you're splitting money 5 ways, and it's like it's the law of diminishing returns. So it does seem like a good idea in thought, but played out, it can be tough because you're dealing with different ideas. Sometimes marketing, maybe both guys are marketing guys. And so this guy wants to do one way and this guy wants to do the other, and they butt heads, and then it's no good for everybody. So there's a lot of, like, when you're working with others, it can be difficult. The Jordan Upper Deck SP, that was a big hit. I don't think I was opening baseball cards. That was 91 Upper Deck? I guess I was, but I wasn't buying Upper Deck. I could afford Upper Deck. 91, I was still buying baseball. 91 Topps. I remember opening Topps, of course. I was opening a ton of 91 Donruss because I could buy like 2 or 3 packs of Donruss for the price of a pack of Upper Deck. And look at me today. I'm in my 40s and I'm calculating the cost per card on each SKU. But the Genesis was 1991. I can buy 3 packs of Donruss. That gives me 24 cards. I only get 10 cards with Upper Deck for the same price. Quantity. Love the smell of fire. Leaves, wood, whenever someone is doing a controlled burn. Ugh, not me. Dan loved highlights. It's a great little issue. Was it a newsletter? It was more of a newsletter, I think. The one I remember was more of a newsletter than a magazine. It wasn't really a magazine. Ed, and Eddie motivated me as a kid to get some money. Let's see. Shane says it sure did. I'm not familiar with Ed, and Eddie. I'm starting to shop Menkos after Dan streams Saturday night. Loved some of them. List them Menkos. Started buying some cards again in the early 90s, but pulled 93 Leaf Frank Thomas auto, and so it started. Nice. 1988 was my first year as a collector. The McGuire Topps Gold Cup was the hit among all of us 90-year-olds back in the day. 88 was my first packs that I opened. Didn't open too many. I remember 88 Donruss and 88 Topps Football. Those are the only, I just remember 2 packs opening those. I probably opened more, but those maybe it's sticking with me because those were the first packs I opened. 89, I remember just opening a shitload of packs. Value Box Digger says, in addition to more you list, the more you ship on time, ship securely, draw customers, don't want to return to check out your store, the more you'll sell. Absolutely. Can you jump on your last 30 days and see how many repeat customers? I think it's been consistently throughout my history, consistently around 15%. Let's see. Last 30 days. And I'm going to tell you, it might be a little lower. Where is it at? Because I haven't run any big sales this month. Breakdown. Oh, wow. 15%. 85% one-time buyers, 15% repeat buyers, which has kind of been a consistent throughout. Now, when I run a sale, that'll probably bump up to like 20% because a coupon goes out to all my previous customers. Max says, if you are buying, listing correctly, efficiently, you should sell 1% of your inventory daily. Don't list junk. Absolutely. 1% is kind of with trading cards, with sports cards, it's a little less than 1%. I think the average is like 0.7%. I'm at like 0.25%, but I have a lot of junk listed. Junk does sell. A lot of the junk that I list is like super easy to like. There's no time involved, and there's no overhead. It's like these are like free cards. So it's like pure profit when it comes in, when the sales come in. So that goes into account as well. I could hang out and ship for a few hours. Let me know off chat. We can pick a day. Victor says, I sense that many compare the Dallas show with the shows from a year or two ago. Different market now, so it's an unfair comparison. As an outsider looking in, there was plenty of people and variety. Yeah, and I think we're still stuck on comparing not just with like card show traffic, but value amounts. I finally saw somebody compare like the price of a the final sale of a 52 mantle. I finally saw one of those examples where it went pre-COVID, and it was like December of 2020. 52 mantle and a PSA, I can't remember, 6 maybe, 350,000. It sold a year ago, I think, for 2 million. It sold recently for $1 million. People are like, oh my God, it dropped. It dropped from 2 million to 1 million. It's like, but 3 years ago, less than 3 years ago, it was 350. You 3x'd your money in 3 years. It's a pretty damn good return. Unless you bought it for 2 million a year ago and sold it for $1 million, then that's poor investing. Let's see. CR had a good time at Oak Creek. Value Box Digger says, correct, from the promoter's pocket, it's not worth making one show. But from the buyers and dealers side, it's no fun having every month 3+ shows. Completely agree. I can see where you say about doing a show differently. I suppose that's one reason you like doing your show just you. Absolutely. It's just, I don't have to, that's why I'm working for myself, and I can do things the way I want to. And it's just easier that way. That's just my personality. Like, everybody's different. Some people love collaborating and working with others. I don't. Like, I just want to do what I want to do. Let's see. Max says, correct, it's a different market. That is exactly what is being compared. A card show 1 year ago in the same location will always be a fair comparison. Traffic, in my opinion, is the best and only way to judge a show. And everybody judges shows differently. Like, is it a good show if 1,000 people show up but nobody's buying anything? Because I mean, the point of a show is to spend money, is hopefully your dealers to make money. You know, but also at that same time, you have to kind of, the onus is also on you to make it what it is. Like, I guess if your sole purpose is if you're setting up as a dealer, if your sole purpose is to make money at a show selling cards, and you have no other, like, you don't want to network, maybe it's just a side hustle for you. And I get it. Like, everybody has a different, way of going about setting up as a dealer at a card show. If it's just a side thing that you want to make a few bucks on the weekend, I get it. Like, I don't want any more cards. I'm not going to buy more inventory if that's not what your focus is. If you're just doing it every once in a while, you don't need to necessarily network if it's just kind of a casual thing. So if your sole focus is trying to make sales, and you don't make any sales, show probably sucks for you. Fortunately, I have multiple verticals going into a show that, I want to network, I want to buy, and I want to sell. And sometimes I don't hit all that criteria. Sometimes I might not. It might be the same people I've seen month after month that I know. So I don't meet any new people. But I made great sales to customers. Didn't buy anything, but I made great sales. Sometimes I don't make any sales or mini sales, but it allows me to go buy. So fortunately, I have multiple, angles going into a card show. Let's see. Dan says, all my research shows highlights being a magazine. See, I just remember it being like a 6-page like newsletter type thing. I don't know. Dan wants to know what kind of Menkos Value Box Digger is looking for. That dude from Duryea, hits or errors? Yeah, back in the error card craze of the 80s and early 90s. The Frank Thomas No Name, the Ripken, the Dale Murphy. Every 90 Donruss card has an error. Yes, Hoops David Robinson was my first chase card, not an error. I don't remember my first chase. Like 88 was my first, like I was just opening cards to open cards. 89, I opened so many, but I don't remember chasing anything. Like I remember the Ripken. My older brother was just crazy buying boxes everywhere. I'm like, whoa, you bought a whole box. And like, that was like one of those shelf clearing products. Like we complain about people clearing shelves for whatever now. That was happening in 1989. Like there was no Fleer on the shelves in my local IGA because people would come in and buy them by the box looking for Billy Ripken. So I don't remember buying any 89 Fleer because it just wasn't available. Maybe 89 Donruss chasing the rated rookie Ken Griffey Jr. I remember buying a lot of 89 Bowman, but I don't remember buying 89 Bowman to chase Griffey. I remember 89 Bowman because I just loved the cards. Now I hate them. But I do remember trying to chase the Griffey rated rookie card. And I ended up I never got it in a pack, but they sold team sets at Walmart. And I remember my mom buying me the 89 Donruss Seattle Mariners team set. Because back then, of course, it was so they're like, oh, put that Mariners set in every store in America because people will buy it. Usually they just have it in, your region, Cubs, Cardinals, White Sox. But I don't remember like ever chasing a card in the early 90s, like my first years. Like I don't ever remember like chasing. I guess the 89 Donruss Griffey would have been the closest thing. But I was just about the cards. I was just, 89 Topps. I was trying to build a set. 89 Bowman. I just liked the look of 89 Bowman. And then I bought a lot of non-sports in 89 and 90. But I don't remember chasing anything myself. Let's see. CR says, is it really that hard to find a location to throw a card show? Yes. Yes, it is. Not only is it hard to find, is it hard to find a location? No. I should let me rephrase this. Is it hard to find a location to throw a card show? No, not at all. Is it really hard to find a location to throw a card show that isn't going to cost you an arm and a leg? That's where it becomes really difficult. Venues charge a lot of money. And trying to find a venue with space. And then sometimes they don't have enough tables. So you have to go rent tables or have dealers bring their own tables, which is a pain. So there's a lot that goes into it. Is it hard to find a location? Not, absolutely not. There's a location on every block. Not really, but kind of. But is it good for a card show? Is it going to be affordable? It might cost $3,000 and they only have 40 tables. Well, do the math. Not going to work. So it's not hard to find a location, but when it comes down to the money, it becomes difficult. Table cost probably factor too if people had a good or bad show. Some shows are getting to $100 a table here. Or is it a bad thing to look for a new location if you feel like your show is growing, or should you keep it as is? That's a double-edged sword. That's a double-edged sword because you want consistency, but if you are month after month selling out and growing out of the location, sure. I've looked around. Since when? April of 2021, I've sold and had a waiting list. I think April of 2021 was my first waiting list show. And all but like 2 months since then, I've had waiting lists. So should I go find a new venue? Well, it's easier said than done. Am I going to get the value out of another location? I can find another location, like go across the street, align it. I've gone through this, so many times. It's just not feasible. Like I would lose a lot of money. And you have to pay to park at the Alliant. It's like $8. Are you going to pay to come to a card show? No. Other locations, they have 50 tables and they cost more than my current venue. And then I have to put in, I have to rent all these tables and go through all that. So it's It's very difficult. So it's just, yeah, it's a pain. Let's see. So that's why the Madison Card Show, it's at the Sheraton on John Nolan Drive. And when it sells out, just goes to a waiting list. And I don't really, I don't want, and the Sheraton has been so good to me, and they set up everything. They have the tables. They do all the setup, and I go in and change some things around every once in a while, and that's it. So it's super easy, and people know it's a nice location. It's a little unfortunate that there's 2 rooms, but people now are used to that and know that there's a room upstairs and a room downstairs. I knew it would take time, and it's great. It's great. I don't want to change. I don't want to move unless they're like, we don't want you back. Let's see, where are we at? Let's see. Brian says, any Michael Jordan or Nolan Ryan were and still are my chase cards. Love pulling those too. The reverse Juan Gonzalez, yes, 90 Donruss. Back then it was $5. Cost is why one of our local card shops is closing. Rent doubled. Yeah, starting to see that more and more. I think having a waiting list is healthy for a show nowadays. There will come a time in the near future that you will miss that wait list. Unfortunately, yes, completely agree. I thought already, if to be honest with you, in 2020, when I started selling out the shows in April, May of 2021, I'm like, by this time next year, April, May of 2023, or is that right? Yeah, 2022, April of 2022. April 2021 was my first show, April 2022. So I thought by April 22, May 22, there would be no sellouts and we would be, under 100 tables. And that hasn't been the case. But yes, you're exactly right. There's going to come a time where it might only be a 50 table show or less. So it's just, you have to be prepared for that. I have to be prepared. For that. Collector's Dream said, I interviewed a successful show promoter yesterday, shared some great insights to his show's success. Very nice. Appreciate your openness and honesty. You bet. So that's what I had for today. Daylight savings sucks. We're back to Central Time. And now it sucks because I'm used to daylight time. So, CR remembers chasing the Derek Jeter, George Bush, Mickey Mantle Topps card as a kid. I love it. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to go ship. Come back, do a little listing. Shipping and listing and shipping. That's on today's, and mowing. Shipping, listing, and mowing. That's what's on today's agenda. Shipping, listing, and mowing. So have a great day. Don't forget, we spoke a lot about card shows today. I'll be setting up at the next card show this coming Saturday in Rockford, Illinois. The Rockford Card Show. It's at the IBEW Banquet Hall. So come see me. I'll have dime boxes, which there's some really good stuff in these for a dime. I'm going through. It's like for a dime, I'd be filling boxes. So I will. I've failed to bring extra boxes the last couple shows. So I'll make sure to bring empty boxes for you to fill up those dime boxes. I'll bring my dollar boxes as well. And supply. Hopefully my supply order should come in. I don't think James is with us this morning, but I did put an order in for penny sleeves, top loaders, and card savers, and they should be on my doorstep at some point this week. So come see me, Rockford, Illinois, this Saturday. Hit the like button on this video. Subscribe to the channel. We'll do it all again tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Central. See you then.